Single dad delivered a baby on the subway. He had no idea she was the CEO's wife. The train screeched to a sudden stop underground, lights flickering like a dying heartbeat, and in that cramped subway car, surrounded by strangers and the smell of metal and rain-soaked coats, a single father's life changed forever in a way no promotion, prayer, or plan could have prepared him for. What began as an ordinary, exhausting commute turned into a moment that would bind a broken man, a newborn child, and a powerful family in a way fate alone could design. Fear filled the air, panic spread like fire, and somewhere between the screeching rails and pounding hearts, a miracle was about to be born. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet heroes among us, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He was a single dad named Aaron, a man whose face carried the permanent exhaustion of someone who loved deeply but slept lightly. Every morning began before sunrise, packing lunches with one hand while tying his young son's shoelaces with the other, always racing against time, bills, and the ache of a life that had not turned out the way he once dreamed. His wife had died 3 years earlier, leaving him with grief he never fully spoke about and responsibilities that never paused for mourning. That morning, like so many others, he boarded the subway after dropping his son at school, already calculating how many hours he could afford to miss work without risking his job. The train was crowded, bodies pressed close, everyone wrapped in their own worries, when suddenly a woman near the center of the car collapsed. At first, people assumed she had fainted, another victim of the city's relentless pace, but then the signs became impossible to ignore. Her breathing was strained, her face pale, and panic flooded her eyes in a way that silenced the entire car. The realization hit everyone at once: she was in labor, and not just early labor, but the kind that doesn't wait for hospitals or help or perfect timing. Fear paralyzed the crowd. Some turned away. Others froze, unsure, overwhelmed. Aaron felt his chest tighten, memories rushing back of the night he lost his wife, the helplessness, the waiting, the unbearable fear of doing nothing. Without fully understanding why, he moved forward. His hands shook, his heart pounded, but something stronger than fear pushed him on, a sense of responsibility he had learned the hard way, a belief that when someone needs help, you don't wait for permission. The subway stalled between stations, emergency lights casting long shadows on anxious faces. The woman clutched her stomach, tears slipping down her cheeks, her strength fading fast. Aaron knelt beside her, grounding himself the way he had learned during years of parenting through grief. He spoke calmly, not with confidence but with sincerity, reassuring her with steady presence rather than promises. He had no medical training, no heroic background, only lived experience of fear and love colliding. Minutes stretched endlessly as the train remained trapped underground. The city above rushed on, unaware that a life was fighting its way into the world below. Aaron guided the woman through each painful moment, blocking out the crowd, the noise, the doubt in his own mind. When the baby finally arrived, crying loudly as if demanding to be heard, the entire car erupted in gasps and tears. Strangers became witnesses to something sacred. In that moment, Aaron wasn't a struggling single dad or an underpaid worker, he was the reason a child took its first breath. Emergency crews eventually arrived, rushing the mother and newborn away. Aaron faded back into the crowd, hands trembling, clothes stained, heart racing, unsure if he had done enough or too much. He went on with his day because that's what single parents learn to do, there is no pause button for life. He picked up his son from school, made dinner, helped with homework, never imagining that the moment he thought would vanish into memory was already changing his future. Days later, a knock came at his apartment door. Standing there were people who looked out of place in his worn hallway: security, assistants, and finally the woman from the subway, holding her baby. Only now did he learn the truth. She was married to the CEO of one of the largest companies in the city, a man whose name was known in boardrooms and headlines alike. That day on the subway, she hadn't been a powerful executive's wife, she had been just another vulnerable human being in need of help, and Aaron had never asked who she was. What followed wasn't instant wealth or unrealistic miracles. It was something quieter, deeper, and more meaningful. Medical bills were covered without fanfare. A better job opportunity came his way, one that respected his time as a father. His son received educational support that lifted a weight Aaron had carried alone for years. But more than anything, there was recognition of his humanity, his courage, his willingness to step forward when others stepped back. As time passed, Aaron remained humble, never seeking attention or praise. He taught his son that heroes don't always wear uniforms or stand on stages, sometimes they're tired parents on a subway, choosing compassion over fear. The baby he helped bring into the world grew, surrounded by privilege, yet always reminded of the ordinary man who made her first moments possible. If this story is touching your heart right now, please pause and leave a comment before the ending. Share where you're watching from or what this moment made you feel. Your voice matters more than you know. Near the end of his hardest days, when the bills still piled up and grief still whispered in quiet moments, Aaron would remember that underground train, the flickering lights, the cry of a newborn cutting through panic. It reminded him that even in the darkest places, light finds a way through ordinary people. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps spread stories that restore faith in humanity, one heart at a time.